All right, good evening. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd. I would like to call this regular school board meeting to order. Time is 6:40. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the roll reflect all members are present with the exception of Derek Miller. Was this meeting properly notified?
Yes, it was. And as a reminder, it's being live streamed and recorded.
Welcome visitors. Public comment? No. Moving on to comments by board members and superintendent. We've got the 24-25 audit overview.
I take it I'm taking that one.
Yeah.
So we had auditors. We had auditors here last week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they went through the books and the audit overall went good. We had one adjusting journal entry for some Medicaid revenue that should have been in Fund 27 instead of Fund 10. So, but then they did, because if you have over $750,000 worth of federal aid, you're required to have what they refer to as a single audit. So they take one of the funds that has a significant portion of federal funding and they audit that specifically. So they chose the food service program as one of those. And so they just asked for a lot of stuff, and one of them was all the applications for free and reduced meals. And we will be getting a finding for that because the back of the applications were not filled out appropriately. The person that was doing the certifying was supposed to document on the back of the form what they found, if they were eligible for free or reduced or paid, and mark that and sign that. And that was not completed on any of the applications. So that was the only thing. Otherwise it went really, really well. So any questions on that, or?
So just a process error.
Yeah.
It's not like a gap in or how it should be done. It was just not followed.
Correct. And we do have a new staff member that is taking that over. So we are kind of working with the Baldwin Woodville School District and their person that is doing those food service apps to have them come over and kind of train her, and so that we know we're doing things appropriately. And the auditors also went through that with her when they were here, so she knows what she needs to be doing, what to look for, and that type of thing. So, and we found out Tuesday, was it yesterday or Monday, that we're going to have an actual food service audit in 25-26. So that's the state. DPI comes in and does those. Sometimes they have another outside agency that will come in and do it. That's what happened the last time, but a lot of times it's DPI. So we're not exactly sure when that will happen, but sometime during the 25-26 school year. So.
Okay.
We can move on to superintendent's annual timeline review. Timeline. Tim is working on it this week, his portion.
Yep, I'll have that done by the Friday afternoon, sent to the board.
And then we'll do our part the following weeks, and we'll review it during the August meeting.
So the August meetings, the 20th.
20th.
How much time do we want it done before?
I would like
Erica has
it,
to assemble our comments.
Yeah.
so a good, if we could do it by August
Week.
14th.
Okay.
So. Tracy?
Yeah, current Aaron spent some time to kind of make the presentation, so I'd like to.
Agenda, or just skip it. Come back.
Just skip it and come back.
So we'll move on to, so we'll wait since Tracy is not here to do her presentation along with Aaron. We'll move to the financial reports.
As of June 30th, 2025, for our bank account balances, our Citizen State Bank checking is at $3,062,815.88. Money market is $12,292.14. Fund 46 is $60.80. Suicide prevention is $5,383.77. Debt service amount of $935.34. Referendum amount of $60,707.48 for a total account balances of $3,142,195.41.
We approve the finance report as presented.
Second hand.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. We can move on to consideration of consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from May 5th, May 14th, June 4th, and June 16th.
You can do the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
You all?
Yeah, you can just.
Okay. I guess I'll
See,
finish my motion. I move to approve consent agenda items.
Any modifications?
no, there is no modifications today.
Could you walk through what I read through it, but
6630?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do that, Jen, or you want me to?
You can.
That's something we do annually, with Alden, Woodville, and Somerset. It's just a shared services agreement, essentially is what it is. It's always been called 6630, although it's 660301. But that's something we've done for a long time in our partnership, so.
Is it one PT or multiple PTs?
It's one PT and one certified occupational therapy assistant. And we don't know how many students you have, that kind of teach you on what they send us.
I answered the motion, Dave second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Administrative reports. Okay. All right, moving on to the key work of our school board. We have student, staff, and community recognition.
All right. So first few are track and field. So Jack Shower, first team all conference in the 3,200 meter, and honorable mention all conference in the 1,600 meter. Brady Jackman, first team all conference discus, and second team all conference shot put. Lena Wilson, first team all conference shot put. Matthew Goosens, second team all conference 400 meter. Lily Klinkhammer, second team all conference triple jump, second team all conference 300 hurdles, and honorable mention all conference 100 meter hurdles. Ella Hawkins, second team all conference pole vault. Ryan Tonis, second team all conference 100 meter hurdles, and honorable mention all conference 300 meter hurdles. Will Fredericks, Aaron Seiler, Owen Herring, Walker Match, Say that right? Honorable mention, all conference 4x4. And then Cadence Trudell, Haley Gessler, Addie Swanson, and Abby Lammers. Honorable mention, all conference 4x800 meters. So congratulations to all the track athletes on claiming all conference honors in the middle border for track and field. Then we have some softball. Hunter Thompson, second team. Lauren Lindis, honorable mention. And Megan Wilkie, honorable mention. Congrats on your selection for all conference in the middle border for softball. And then next up, Abby Lammers, first team all conference. Piper Larson, second team all conference. And Zoe Johnston, second team all conference goalie. Congrats on your selection to all conference in the middle border for girls soccer. Let's see a couple baseball. Eli Babler, first team all conference. Brecken Poneth, first team all conference. Brett Grace, second team all conference. And Brett Nelson, honorable mention. Congrats on your selection for all conference in the middle border for baseball. And then last group here, Maxwell Hawkins, Braden Rasmussen, and Maxwell Waters. Sorry, I should have said Max Hawkins first team, Braden Rasmussen second team, and Max Waters honorable mention. Congrats on your selection for all conference in the middle border for boys golf.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a good one.
Moving on to consideration of approval of annual notices.
So annual notices are required every year. So the WSB puts out a list of the notices that are required, and then as well as the requirements for each notice. There weren't very many updates this year. So anytime there are updates, I work with the supervisor for those notices to make sure that we're meeting the requirements. And then for all of the ones that don't have updates, I just check in with those supervisors to make sure that we're still doing what we're supposed to meet those notice requirements. Nearly all of these are in our back to school newsletter as well as on the website. And then there are several that we also send to the newspaper. So, yeah.
Any new ones this year?
What?
Are there any new ones or are they all?
No, there's no new ones this year.
Right, so we do need a motion.
I will move to approve of the annual notices. Saying that right?
So Lance made the motion, Jeff second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Read it.
Consideration of approval of notice identifying pupil academic standards in mathematics, science, reading and writing, geography and history for SCC School District for the 25-26 school year.
This agenda item and the next are part of the annual notices as well. It's a requirement that we do it annually. The board approves it, and it's they are all listed on our website as well and in your packet.
You made the motion.
Second.
Jeff second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of approval of notice identifying pupil academic standards in mathematics, science, reading and writing, geography and history for St. Croix Virtual Academy for the 25-26 school year.
Move we approve.
Jeff made the motion, Dave second. Is there any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to core agenda items.
Item A, there have been no changes since last month's first reading.
Approve core agenda item A.
Second.
That's made the motion. Brad second. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Possible future agenda items?
Nope, we missed first
Oh,
readings.
sorry. Oh, we don't read them. We don't vote on them.
Yeah. So, just a little FYI, B, you can see the only change to our existing policy, through recent events, we have added, both, the business manager under local public offices, and I have added human resources director, because, we learned they both fall under statute 118.24, exempt employees, administrative contracts, both are administrative contracts, so have been added to 823. You can see the changes there. I thought it was not necessary that it included that phrase, all other offices and positions are considered local public offices for purposes of Wisconsin public records law listed in the district's posted public record notice. They're listed here. So didn't need that part. Again, we use the language from our policy resource guide in WASB. But that's why you see that strike through there. It's like that's not necessary to say that because they're all listed here. And in the next one, the exhibit, again, working with Attorney Barry Forbes and WASB, learned, that we have only had the policies and we haven't had rules or exhibits. So we're working on the next round of adopting all of them. And this one, since we are using it quite often recently, I just wanted to get clarification on that. So again, that's very standard in comparison to other districts, and it is the WASB's policy resource guide template for costs and procedures, et cetera, et cetera. So they did a nice job of spelling it out. That would be the first reading.
So no action required, just noted that it's the first reading.
Correct.
Possible future agenda items. Then the important upcoming dates, August 7th is the St. Croix Central School Board Development Meeting at 5 p.m. in the school district office here at 915 Davis Street. And August 20th is the school board meeting at 7 at the district office.
Tracy's here, so we can come back to that.
Right.
So,
Right, and we've got the ACP plan and associated credits with Tracy Crowley and Mary Pop.
Sorry, I'm on some of that.
I need this one.
HDMI, right?
Yep.
Should pop up in a second.
Click on. I'm gonna get you up on the TV.
It's usually around F8 in that area.
If I do that, and that does not show up on your screen, but it shows up on mine.
Like you might have split screens instead of duplicate.
Yeah. How do I change that?
You have links within it, because if you had to, we could share it with Tim and have Tim put it up there. That would just be nice for being able to control it.
Well, that's usually hit Control F8 there. You see that icon or function F8 there, or right click on your home screen.
There we go. I think we got it now. There we go. All right.
That's okay, because the technology teacher, I know that, but, today we're here to talk about the personal finance and career readiness, or ACP plan. I know Alyssa was here earlier this year and talked about what our school's ACP plan was. And this kind of came about as some discussion with it. Just so you know, none of the things we're sharing today has been communicated with parents or students. It has been shared with our high school staff, but because we're still in the preliminary planning stages and it hasn't been board approval, we have not shared it out yet until we get that approval. So, kind of the why of what we're talking about today is the biggest thing is Wisconsin passed Act 60, which is our personal finance. So currently the state is requiring us to have 1/2 credit of personal financial literacy, starting with graduation class of 2028. SCC currently we have a 1/2 credit in our graduation requirements, but it's called personal financial literacy and it's got an asterisk by it, and it's combined with our career or career readiness or ACP standards. And then the state also said we have like 6 strands we have to hit in our personal finance. Our current financial literacy curriculum only covers 5 of the 6 standards. So for the state right now, if we would just go forward with what we currently have, we would be missing one of the whole strands of standards that we're supposed to hit. And again, that was with graduating class of 2028. The reason why we're kind of here today is our ACP plan requires that all children in grades 6 through 12 have academic and career guidance programs. We do a really good job at the high school. However, we kind of packed it all into that junior year opposite of personal finance. So the kids take personal finance and I weave in that ACP components in it. And in 2024, they passed the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards, and that's really to help us in that ACP planning. Here are those standards we're supposed to hit. In order to make time to teach all the personal finance standards, I have to take the ACP components out of that class to make time to hit those other standards. And so then when we looked at it, when Aaron and I and the ACP team looked at it, we're like, okay, where can we put these standards so we know every kid is getting it? And at the high school, we're trying to do a better job of making sure every kid's in 9 through 12, not just an 11th grade, are getting those standards. So again, here are all these standards we're supposed to be covering in personal finance. I do a really good job. We cover 5 of the 6 strands, but I don't have time unless I take something out. I can't fit that last strand in it. So our proposal is to take that strand of ACP components out of the class, put it all into personal finance, and then try to cover those ACP components somewhere else. So I'll let Aaron kind of go over kind of what our plan is and how we currently run things.
So currently on our late start Wednesdays, our staff is in at 7:30, and about 7:30 to 8:40, that's when our teachers are meeting in their PLCs. Our current setup is 2 Wednesdays a month. Teachers are meeting as their PLCs. One Wednesday, we do student progress meetings in our PLCs, where we talk about, okay, we know that this student has been struggling with this or this. How can we support them? How can we make sure that all of their needs are being met academically and outside of that? And then 1 Wednesday a month is a staff meeting with our PLC after. And that is with our students starting at 8:45 in first period. Our new late start proposal is that our staff will be in at 7:30, and from 7:30 to 8:40, 2 Wednesdays, teachers will meet as PLCs. 1 Wednesday will be our staff meeting. And then part of 1 Wednesday will be our student progress meetings. And the other portion from 8:10 to 8:40 is going to be an advisory period. So students will be with an advisor teacher based on their grade level. During most of the other Wednesdays, 3 of the 4 Wednesdays a month, myself, Travis Madigan, my co-counselor, and Tracy will be leading grade level ACP career readiness classes. And so we are looking at doing basically all of the ACP standards in that 30-minute block every Wednesday. And then 1 Wednesday a month, the students, instead of meeting with us, will meet with their advisory teachers to touch base on all of the things that we've talked about those other 3 Wednesdays. So then for students, instead of starting at 8:45, they'll start at 8:10, and from 8:10 to 8:40, 3 of those Wednesdays will be with us. 1 of those Wednesdays will be with an advisory teacher. And grade 12 students will only meet with us in person for the first month, and then they will complete their ACP career readiness remotely via Google Classroom, and will meet with one of their advisory teachers by appointment. And this part was modeled after what the virtual school is doing for senior capstone projects.
So what we tried to do is we tried to look at our current schedule and said, okay, instead of adding more to people's plates, how can we utilize the time we already have in our schedule and fit those ACP components in, and also bring in all of the classroom teachers, 9-12, instead of just me and the counselors in grade 11. And so that was kind of why we decided to utilize, or hopefully utilize, our late start Wednesdays to do all of the ACP components of our ACP plan. Again, the proposal, the good parts is we really tried to, if anybody knows me, I came from the business background, so I tried to figure out how can I fit as many things into one box as I can. But by utilizing those late starts Wednesdays, it actually adds over 2 instructional days to our high school calendar. So if we have a lot of snow days, we won't have to worry about doing anything virtually to make it up. We also looked at right now when we pack a lot of stuff and we tend to utilize, right now we have a bonus period, and that's supposed to be for enrichment. Well, anytime we have stuff that come up, we take out of that enrichment time and we're like, let's shove it in there because it's the only time that we have most of the students in the building. By adding this during that time, students will be required just through our curriculum work. Students will put in 1,020 extra minutes of instructional time of ACP. And again, what we try to do is that, especially for our seniors, we try to take whatever they're doing at the virtual and do the same thing at the high school, so that our kids that are who start in our regular school and then decide they want to do virtually for a class or go to our virtual school, now it's a seamless transition, and the credits and the requirements will be the same between the 2 buildings. So it's not like they're gonna, come to our school and then say, oh, you didn't hit this component that virtual school is doing, and now you got to try to cram it in. Now we're going to have the exact same requirements at the virtual school as what we are at our high school. If you want to click, so here's kind of our class outline. We kind of planned it down by grade level. We have different activities. So we looked at freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and there's different activities, and each activity that we have, we lined up per Wednesday. We also lined it to the career readiness standards. And Erin, if you can go to the 11th grade, the other thing we're trying to do is a lot of the guidance, because someone might ask, why is our guidance counselors leading this program? And so we tried to take all of the emotional, social emotional learning competencies and also put it in this curriculum. So with this curriculum on Wednesday mornings, not only will we cover our ACP, we'll also do all of the career readiness standards, and we're going to fit in all of the components of the social emotional learning competencies all into this curriculum. So we're super excited. We were pretty intentional. If we get into what some of them are, we're going to start off with the vision and mission of the district, getting them to see what is our end goal as a district and how can we shape them to get there. We also have some buy-in on them setting high school expectations. So what will the rules in our building be? And so they have some buy-in to when we develop cell phone policies and technology, they have some buy-in. We're going to bring in some guest speakers. So we're going to bring in the military. We're going to bring in people from registered apprenticeship. We're going to bring in entrepreneurs to come in and meet with different grade levels to talk about what options are after high school and how high school can help them get to whatever their ideal future is. We built in some time for our Horizon. As a district, we've put a ton of time and money into buying into our Horizon testing and getting our kids to test better on the ACT and pre-ACT. So in there, we're going to have kids look at their own scores, analyze. As teachers, we have our data dig. We do it every summer, but now we're going to let the kids look at it and develop their own growth and growth needs and strengths of their testing and help them develop goals on how to improve their own scores.
We also want to use this time to do all of our student climate surveys, our depression screeners, all that kind of time, because again, like we try to do that during bonus, but you miss kids and it's hard to track them down. So when we get them in one place, it's like, okay, this is the time where we don't have to take away from bonus. We can do it here. And making sure that we're getting all that done and done well and quickly so that we have our data and we can keep improving all of our programs. Another big part of this was our community service projects that Tracy has led in the past. We're putting into these curriculums so that our students have that experience. And when it comes to graduation, they say, hey, who's participated in a
Community
service
service
project?
project, actually,
They should all
the
stand
whole
up.
class should be able to stand and not just a couple of them. And so we put a ton of thought into how we can kind of schedule that, lay that out. We did different things by grade level. Again, we kept that senior year really looking at the same thing our virtual school requires. Kind of our proposal or our action needed is we need to take out the careers or Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards out of the personal finance class. What that means as a board right now in our graduation requirements, it says personal financial literacy and it's got an asterisk by it. In our course registration book, it's called personal finance / careers. So we just need the / careers out, take the asterisks out, and it's just that half a credit of personal finance. And that will get us compliant with Act 60. We will be a year ahead of where we need to be because they're requiring 2028. We'll actually be earlier than that. The other thing we would do then is we would need students to start school at 8:10 instead of 8:45 on Wednesdays. The reason some of you might say, why aren't they just starting at the normal time, is we find PLC time as a high school very important. And it allows Travis, Aaron, and I still to meet with our core PLCs for that first 30 minutes before we have to break off and run this. The other thing is we would require them, we would ask that you would vote on requiring 0.52 credits per year of career readiness. So that's kind of the big thing, that they're at SCC. Because what we don't want is kids moving in now to be credit deficient, say, well, you don't have this credit. All we're requiring is 0.25 credits per year at SCC. So if they move in from another district, they don't have to have those credits. And then again, we'll move the Wisconsin Career Readiness. We're going to align them with SEL, and then we need to have, or we would like to have, the 0.25 credits for this class. Because again, I love high school students. I would hope I'm motivating for all of them to do it. However, some may choose not to do the requirements we're asking. So we're asking that they get the 0.25 credits, but then it's going to be on a pass-fail. So they'd have to complete 60% of the class requirements in order to pass the class. And it just goes on their transcript as a pass-fail, which is what our virtual school currently does, is they're on a pass-fail basis. I feel I packed a lot in there, and I
Is
thought
there a lot of
it's really hard
questions?
to.
Any licensure issues for teaching licensure, for you to teach it instead of a teacher?
No, because academic career planning really does fall under the umbrella of school counseling. It is, it's the meetings with kids, helping out with transcripts, helping with course registration, helping with stuff that falls under our umbrella already.
Thanks.
A lot to, put in a 35-minute session. That's.
The kids will have to do some of the assignments outside of that 30 minutes. Like they'll still have to, like the same assignments that they did in my futures class, they're still gonna have to do. We do have some work time built in to those. So they might have 2 or 3 work days built into our schedule to work on some of the work.
It sounds like a lot too, but a lot of the SEL competencies flow into the career readiness standards. They're the same, if not the wording just slightly different. So there's not a lot that we have to hit again and hit again and hit again.
The state actually has already crosswalked the career readiness standards and employability skills into this program. So when we kind of developed our program, we looked at, when we talk about communication skills, let's just put it into our interview unit. So when we talk about interviewing with students, right, it'll talk about nonverbal communication skills, eye contact, and how important that is. Talking with your hands, pretty good at that. But some of that stuff, it's a big, but like I said, for us, it's at least a step in the right direction. Right now, we have to find room somewhere And either we take it all out and we don't address it, or being a problem solver, both of us were like, where can we put it in and do benefit? We did bring this to our building leadership team at the high school. They were all well in favor of it. They said, boy, the more you can take off our plates. We've talked about how we can set our teachers up, those advisory teachers up for success. So we built in reflections every time they meet with their advisory teacher. We already have those reflection questions brought out for them. So a teacher just has to log into that Google Classroom, look for their kids. Did they turn in? We give them discussion questions. Here are the discussion questions we want you to discuss with your advisory teachers. The beauty is the three of us won't have an advisory, and that will give us time to go in and meet with the teachers as they're doing their advisory, so we can kind of see, hey, do they need help facilitating? Is one teacher maybe struggling and not giving it the attention, so that we have that availability to pop in with our grade level teachers to do some of that.
We've gone to CISA's ACP work days the last 2 years, and a lot of their message is, this is not a business department thing. This is not a counselor thing. This is a school-wide practice. And that's where we really are focusing on this year, to make it a school-wide practice so that everyone is talking about academic career planning, not just the select few teachers. And again, getting that buy-in from our teachers, getting the buy-in from our students, and taking accountability for, yeah, what am I going to do post-high school? And what skills can we build in during this, that when they go to get a job, okay, now I have this skill, even if I don't necessarily think about it now, it will be applicable later.
Good work.
Want to clarify and summarize, half credit personal finance, you're just dropping the /careers,
Mhm.
right? That's already a graduation requirement.
Yes.
Just clarifying. Then secondly, you're asking to add an additional 0.5 to graduation requirements for SCC students that have been here 4 years for the career readiness and SEL
It'll be 0.25 credits per year that they are at SCC.
per year. That's
So
right.
if
Okay.
they are with us all 4 years, they'll have 1 full credit of ACP by the time they graduate, but we only require that 0.25 credit. So that if we have a junior move in, they don't have to make up 0.75 credits of ACP. So it'll just be the 0.25 graduation requirement.
For the full
And it
year.
helps
that
for
they-
like the work release for.
So it should not, because most of the work release kids, like I said, the seniors are all gonna be virtually anyways. And if, I don't know if you've seen the senior capstone that our virtual requires, it's register, or it's apply for a college, register to vote. It's kind of a choice ranked things. It's by service to self,
Yep.
service to others. And
Community?
community based. So there's 3 main pillars, which is kind of what ACP and career readiness all goes around.
So they have to choose 2 events, 2 tasks per category, and complete those by the end of the year.
And would require board approval for this, correct? With the graduation. And then lastly, I talked about leadership team, administrative team, I assume, is behind this. Anything to add, Brian?
What I really like to add, and you saw, Tracy and Aaron came to me this late fall, early winter, and they said, hey, here's what we're thinking about. And I said, yeah, run with it. They're both passionate about it and true leaders in our building, and just, they came to me with this. I'm like, this is awesome. It fits in with it fits in with our building schedule. It fits in with what our kids need. And again, I think it puts us in front of a lot of schools. I don't think many high schools especially have jumped into the ACP work. That we have with the entire ACP group, but it's getting this into our high school. I don't think many high schools are doing this, so our kids will, hopefully have a leg up.
And I know we've talked about like the portfolio or the capstone when kids graduate. We have a component built in at the end of the year where that now gets built in that. And then their senior year, one of the things, every year they have to do a little presentation on either their reflection or their highlights from the year and their growth. They're gonna start with their goals for the year. How did they accomplish it? We're hoping, maybe down the road, like the seniors have the option of doing wow tables where they can do presentations to parents at one of the parent-teacher conferences. That's kind of further off. We need to kind of get it, but it really, I listened to the last time I presented, not this year, but last year on the ACP plan, and I listened to what some of the comments were and some of our kind of our vision. And so this was just that step. And I know I talked with Aaron or Alyssa Fritchie, who's our other ACP coordinator, and our ACP planning team, and they're all on board. They're like, yep, this is where the high school needs to go. So we're super excited. We hope you are too. Like I said, so. Any other questions?
No.
So I think in my understanding, we might need two separate things. One is approving the creation of a class, and then those graduation requirements. So editing the personal finance and futures class, just being personal finance, and then the addition of the ACP class and the 0.25 credits per year that the students at St. Chris Central is my understanding of what we would need board action.
So it'd be the first one, the third one, and then kind of, yeah, the last one would just be the new class.
The longer we keep them at school, the better.
So I'll make a motion to approve the deletion of asterisk / careers in the, so we have personal finance requirement at graduation. That's 0.25 per year you're here at, that you're at Secret Central. And the requirement for 0.25 per year you're at SCC for career readiness, and the new class on career readiness. I don't think the schedule.
The second one isn't.
The schedule is something that we do other places, so I don't think that's part of the motion.
Second.
All right, so Jeff made the motion and Brad second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's.
One thing that I've heard like the parents about a lot.
Getting ready for after this, like.
Right. So convene to closed session.
I'll make a motion per Wisconsin statute 19.85, parens 1, parens C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Tonight would include a consideration of approval of reallocation of staff leave time, approval of resignations, retirements, and termination, approval of appointments and contract modifications, superintendent's performance review, and discuss complaint against employee.
Well, second.
Jeff made the motion, Dave second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
7:23, we go into